in just a sec. Hello, everyone. It's welcome to another 30 Goals Conference inspiring keynote that we have today with Malu. Malu, do you want to say hi to our audience and where you're at?
Hello for everyone who's there, out there in the world. It's a great pleasure to be here with you all and with Shelley too.
Well, I'm going to go ahead and let Malu get her slides together and tell you a little about her professional life. Malu is very inspiring to many educators. She often talks about being kind, and she's very motivational and very supportive and caring. And she's going to have a great keynote about using mascots and teaching this to children. Malu has been working in Brazil for over 21 years as a teacher, materials designer, Cambridge English language assessment, freelance speaker, a teacher trainer. So she's done many different things. And she's always has a really fun and creative way of doing things as well. She is an associate member of the Asian Teacher Writer Group and a member of the C Group, the Creativity for Change in Language Education. She says she's very passionate about teaching because she likes the fact that she can affect how students perceive the world around them. So I'm going to go ahead and let her inspire you.
Okay, thank you very much, Shelley, for the introduction. And before we start, I really would like to know how many of you can write. I'm not going to be able to see the chat box right now, but you can write and I'll see it later. How many of you teach young learners? As you can type there. And although this presentation is direct to young learners, you can adapt these to teenagers and maybe to some groups of adults as well. It depends on the group and on your focus too. And what I'm going to talk about today is teaching children with mascot-inspired projects. And I always say that teachers like using projects, especially with children in English language classroom, for many good reasons. Yes. First of all, thematically organized materials are easier to remember and learn. Children are going to memorize them better. The presentation of coherent and meaningful information leads to deeper processing and better learning. What's meaningful for them, it's going to lead to a deeper understanding. Also, we see that there's a great relationship between the students' motivation and interest and their ability to process challenging materials, recall information, and elaborate answers. So this is a progressive learning, a progressive kind of learning. And we can also say that the expertise in a topic develops when students reinvest their knowledge in a sequence of progressively more complex texts. So you may say, why did I choose to use mascots with projects? I've always believed that creativity is essential for learning. And with mascot-inspired projects, the creativity is developed and not forced. Also, with mascots, children see work as personally meaningful, and it will boost their creativity through play. Play is very important for children. What's very important for me to say here is that you don't need to have a commercially made mascot. It means fluffy toys like these pictures that you can see. This is Brownie. Yes. They can be made, all these mascots can be made with inexpensive materials, such as paper or cardboard cutouts, or any other kind of inexpensive material that you can think of. All you need is the enthusiasm of the children and the teacher, of course, to channel and create a reason to carry out the project. So the teacher is going to play a very important role in the project. So now I'm going to share a project that's called Storytelling and Creative Writing that I created with a group of young learners. And The project is like that. With this project and the use of a mascot, the children, they use the five senses, that is sight, hearing, touch, taste, and smell. And they are going to use these five senses to experience the natural world around them. They can write stories, tell stories, draw pictures, or even write poems using vocabulary learned in the garden, if you have a school garden, if you have a park near the school where you can take them, and from everything there is around them. In this picture, you can see a group of young learners of mine, and we are in a park near the school. They will also learn the differences between the five senses and how they are useful tools to experience the world, and so learning in a more effective way and enhancing their creativity. So how does it go? You can pretend that you are in a garden right now or in a park. If you close your eyes, you can imagine that you are there, and so you can participate too. So what did I do? The first, I want you to think of a mascot of yours. It can be a bear, a dog, a camel, anything. Just give it a name first. Okay? Then this is what I did with the children. I took them to the park, and you can take them to the garden if you'd like, and ask them if they have already a mascot. You can ask them to take the mascot of their own. If not, you can ask them to create one. When you arrive there, you are going to start with the sense of sight. Yes. So what you're going to do? Have children five different colors in the nature. And now I want you to think of the different colors that you can find in your imaginary garden. You can have the children explore whether the objects are the same color, are the same thing, and compare that with the mascots. Can you? Can you say if you're in your imaginary garden, the colors that are there are the same of the mascot that you chose now? The next one is the sense of hearing. You are going to ask the students to close their eyes, and you can do that now too, and ask them what they hear. Are there birds singing? I can hear a bird singing right now where I am now in Brazil. If so, is it just one kind of bird song, or there are different ones? Can they hear leaves rustling? Can they feel the wind blowing hard or soft by the sound of the leaves? What noises are there near? What noises are near and which ones are far away? Then you can ask them to open their eyes, and you can open your eyes now and describe the sounds the mascots can make too, and compare with the sounds they hear in the nature. Can you do that too? The next one is the sense of touch. You are going to ask the students to find different objects with different textures. Yes, and you can do it now with anything that's around you. Touch them. Yes, if you are in a garden, you can ask them if there are flowers or plants. Have them compare how different flowers and plants feel. Some may be rough, while others are smooth. And then you can also ask them to touch their mascots and compare their texture too. Can you do that now? The next one is the sense of taste. This is very difficult to explore in the nature because it can be dangerous to eat in the wild, unless you have someone who knows how to identify plants in the garden, or if you also know how to identify plants in the garden. But it's also a good learning opportunity here. It's good to explain this to children, that they cannot eat anything that's around them. They have to know. Yes. Alternatively, you can bring some fruits and remind the children that they come from nature. And you can ask them also to imagine what their mascots eat. Do you know what your mascots eat? And the last one is the sense of smell. You are going to ask them to close their eyes again, and you can do it now too, and smell the air. Do you smell flowers? Do they smell flowers? Wet earth? Cut grass? When have they smelled these things before? How about you in your imaginary garden? You can ask them to imagine what their mascots could smell. Since a dog can only smell things that we can only imagine, we don't know what they really smell. So you have to imagine. After these 5 steps, I suggest you to sit on in a nice spot, yes, on the grass or under a tree, and ask them to talk about what they have experienced before. Yes, you can ask them here in this moment. You can give them plenty of time to talk about each sense, and then you can help them write or create a story based on their experience using their mascots. Yes. Back in the classroom, it depends on the length of your class. You can have that done on the same day or on the following class. Yes, but back in the classroom, you can ask the children to tell you the 5 different senses. Ask them to name one thing that they discovered using the 5 senses. Yes, and ask them if it's useful to have the 5 senses, and name a situation in their day when it's important to make use of each of the 5 senses. You can tell them stories, or if they wrote poems out loud using the mascots. And you can document them in a poster in the classroom, or if you use technology, you can document everything on a blog. If you have your own blog, your teaching blog, or the blog of the school or of the classroom, that's a good opportunity to do so. Here, now I'm going to read some examples of a group of 5 girls. They all belong to the same group. And they were very excited about this project, and they created some stories, but they wanted to do something more challenging. So they wrote poems based on this project. So I'm going to read them for you. The first one is done by Ana Luisa, and she's 9 years old. So she wrote, "The flowers of my garden shine brighter than the sun. Brownie plays with us and we have so much fun." Brownie is in all these pictures, and he's here with me too. I'll show you after the slides. The next poem is from a lovely girl, and she's 7 years old. So she wrote, "On the other side of the world, the sun shines brighter than here. Doobie and all his friends smile for everyone to see. Doobie is another bear from Dubai, and he's here with me too." The next example is from Maria Fernanda, and she's 8 years old. She wrote, "The sun is shining, and I'm shining too. But why is snow so sad and blue? Snow is another bear from Canada, and he's here with me too." The next example is from a girl called Chiara, and she wrote, "Brownie, Doobie, and Snow are laughing and laughing. They are only on the ground, and everyone is coming round." And the last example is from Lorena. She's 8 years old too. She wrote about Vanilla. Vanilla is the only girl, the bear girl in the group, and Vanilla is from Brazil. "If you are feeling blue, Vanilla's flowers will come to you and give you superpowers." And this is the picture of my young poets. And here they are writing their poems in the class right after the project in the park. You can do some variations of this activity. What you can do, if you don't have a garden in the school or a park, if you don't have this opportunity, you can do all this project in the classroom. And if you did the project in the garden or in the park, you can repeat the 5 senses activity in the classroom. You can ask them to draw pictures of the 5 senses, and here you're not going to ask them to draw just a nose or eyes, but something that they learn with this. They really learn with this. Yes. You can ask them in the classroom, how do things feel, look, and smell inside the classroom compared to when they were outside? And if you had the opportunity to do both, you can ask them if they like exploring more inside or outside. Is a classroom a healthy place for animals or plants to live? Why or why not? You can use all this to create other stories inside the classroom. Yes. And you can ask them if you want to do something more challenging, you can ask them to write an acrostic poem using the five senses or the name of their mascots. I wrote this one based on Brownie. So this how it goes. Blue sky, rough bark, orange scent, whistling wind, nice soft grass, itchy mosquito bite, eating sweet raspberries. So you can see the name Brownie, and this is an alternative that you can do too. Yes. One thing that's very important that I always do in my writing classes, if it's with children, teenagers, or adults, I always sit and write with them. They see the teacher as their model, and if you show them that you are participating actively by writing too, they're more motivated to write. And now, if you have the chance to write something, you can also share with us. You can write now, or then you can write on Twitter using the hashtag 30goes. All right. So what are the benefits of using this kind of project with children? We can say that writing a story or a poem based on their personal experiences, intuition, close observation and imagination, combined with effective modes of thinking, will flow naturally in this project, in this kind of project too. The use of a mascot of their own will add a playful engagement to the project and with the language too. The children will work in a fun-loving environment when risk is encouraged all the time. And all these elements combined will boost their creativity. So what is the conclusion that I came up based on this project? That project-based learning is an exciting way to teach children. With project-based learning, such as this one, the one that I described here today, you will be able to reach all the students and get them engaged in so many different ways. And it will give them ownership of their learning. They will see this as something meaningful too. And you are going to make them lifelong learners. This kind of, this group that I show you, this group of young girls writing poems, all the time they ask me, teacher, when are you going to write more poems? They love writing poems now. Yes. And they will also gain critical thinking and problem-solving skills that they will need as soon as they walk out of the classroom to the real world. The use of a mascot in these projects will also increase engagement, imagination, and of course, creativity. It will also increase motivation because they will do something that's meaningful for them, as I said before, and it will allow them to write their own stories, personalizing them to the maximum. This is very important for the learners, I believe. It will also give them confidence to take risks in a fun-loving environment, and it will stimulate socialization and playfulness. And the last and very important point that I'd like to mention here is that teaching with mascot-inspired projects is teaching children through play. Children learn better through play, through being curious, through exploring things, than making things and sharing them with others. And this is going to transform how they approach language learning for the rest of their lives. Because the experiences that children have in their childhood build the skills that make them able to deal with the challenges in the future. So here, now, I'll say thank you very much for participating in this keynote now. And here I'll give you my email, my website. Also, if you like to write to me, the website of the C group, if you want to read more about it and be part of this with us. And also this project that I described here and 4 other projects are in this creativity book that was published by the British Council, and you can also download here for free. So thank you very much. And now I'm back with Shelley.
Well, thank you, Molly, for such a lovely presentation. I'm going to put you back on here.
Let me just show you. I'll show you the mascots that were a part of this project. So here I have Flat Brownie, as you can see. Yes, it's part of another project. Yes, unfortunately I wouldn't have time to describe it here. This is a mini Paddington that it was also part of the project. Doobie, that they wrote about Doobie. Yes. Vanilla, as you can see here. And finally, Snowy. They're all here with me.
Oh, how awesome. I love it. Well, what a wonderful, wonderful presentation. A lot of positive feedback. Well, I was going to ask you a question about what do you do? I've used mascots before, but definitely I have so many new ideas the way you use them. But what do you do when you have at the beginning maybe especially with boys where one of the boys tries to pick on the mascot, and then that kind of gets the others to kind of pick on the mascot too. How do you get the kids to build a relationship and like the mascot?
Well, first I ask them if they have any mascots at home. I ask them to bring in the classroom. Yes, and they all do. They all have something, and if they don't, they're going to bring something from their brother or from their sister, and even the boys, they're very enthusiastic about that too. That surprised me when I started to write about this project. And all of them, surprisingly for me, all of them had names before. And so they really have the mascots at home that they keep in their bedrooms, and they all have names. If they don't, then we come up with a name together in the classroom. We use competition to vote for the best name, the most meaningful for them. So this is what I do with the groups where there are children that don't have mascots at home and they don't have names too.
Judy mentioned that she uses Clifford, the big red dog.
I love Clifford, yeah.
Do you ever find if either more human or an animal mascot, do you notice any preferences with certain age groups that work better?
Yes, they all like, from my experience now with all the groups of teenagers that I've taught so far, they all use animals. None of them have human figures, and I really don't know why. It's something that I could investigate more, but all of them, they prefer using animals. And sometimes it's related to the pets that they have at home, like a dog. But the most part of them, they use bears, different kind of bears from different places.
Well, thank you very, very much for your presentation. We were very inspired. A lot of people said they had many new ideas, and we'd like people, I think, Malu, will you be posting this somewhere, your challenges that you posted to teachers within the presentation?
Yes. If I cannot see right now everything that's written, but yes, I'll post it. I'll post on Facebook and on Twitter. And I'll post the slides on SlideShare. So I'll share everything with you all and using the hashtag 30Go so that everybody can see it.
Okay. And if you all do complete any of these challenges, just let us know and we'll automatically give you one of our prizes just for participating. So thank you so much, and thank you for being such an inspiration.
Thank you for the opportunity, and thank you all for being here. Bye.